Hello, my YouTube friends. How are you doing? Uh, I'm going live again. Sorry I missed you guys last week as I tried to get on with with the live stream, but actually I was on vacation. It was cool. Had a few days break with the kids, and I'll tell you when when you know. Hey, Jess, you're always here on standby. Awesome. How do you hear me today? Is everything good? I'm trying out this new microphone. If I can just adjust it louder or anything like that. So do let me know if you can hear me a lot better this time because this mic is really it's a it's a big microphone. Yeah. Oh, great. Okay. I hope it because every time when I do a live here or here on the computer, it kind of like it's tinny, sounds tinny, but hopefully this time it won't sound tinny, right? So I'm just trying to get this thing out of the out of my way without getting breaking it. I'm just kind of setting up, waiting to see a few more things. Hey, Greg King, awesome man. Yeah, I have this set up because I made some music before and I have some mic equipment here. Uh, yeah, okay, great. Yeah, hey Peter, how are you doing? A great audio, awesome. So I don't sound tinny, right? I just want this mic. I'm just setting up, guys. Just be patient with me, and hopefully this thing doesn't fall apart. Yeah, great. Hey, Tabesh Khan, how are you, my friends? I have a few people on, and I already got some likes. That's awesome. I really and and I got this Sony this what is it? This Alpha A7R4, and I didn't even opened it. I got it for a couple of weeks, and I was just been so busy. Well, I'll tell you why I missed the live stream yesterday, last week, and I apologize for it because I just always try my best to make a live stream every week and just keep you updated with my life. And last week, mom's on vacation in Hong Kong, and that's kind of awesome. But the deal is, as you know, in Hong Kong, there's a lot of parties happening at nighttime in the middle of the streets, right? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and I'm trying to try to stay away from the talking about protesting and stuff like that. I'll try a little bit, but not. If I make a title or anything, all those videos has been demonetized, and that really sucks. And the thing is, I just got so fed up. You get you do all that work and just gets demonetized, and it's really sucky. And I just got one of the like lavalier microphones, and they're really good. And I purposely went to a protest site in the middle of protest site with all the riot police in front, and I did a microphone test, and I find that kind of hilarious. I don't know, have you guys seen that? I'll put the link up on the description, but there's not much views on it. It's okay, but I just wanted to prove that I'm still really concerned about Hong Kong and everything's going down, and it's happening basically every night. It's like a guerrilla warfare. People don't come out in just one area. Uh, yeah, yeah, rowdy, definitely. They come out in different cities, and suddenly there's this appear in one city, and they start wrecking things, setting on fire, and just cause havoc. Uh, and then suddenly they all disappear, and the cops trying to get there, and then they go from the other side of town, and then suddenly pop up in different groups. And this Hong Kong has one of the best mass transits in the world, really efficient. You can wait like 2 to 3 minutes for a subway train, 2 to 3 minutes on a bus, taxis everywhere on the street. trams, one of the cheapest transport in the whole world, that they just continuously coming. Ferries, you've seen some of my videos on the Star Ferry, so cheap. No, I'm in Hong Kong right now. Yeah, yeah, but I'll talk about this. And the thing is, you would see on the protest they're smashing up the MTR, the subway system, the gate machines, and all that. And it's sad to see them, destroying all those stations. But the police this ordered the subway system to be shut down. Even tonight, the whole subway system was shut down because of all the vandalizing things and all that. And plus, when they shut down the subway system, the protesters can't get from A to B. See, like they'll be like immobilized. But the deal is, these guys are pretty smart. Hey, G Mac, how are you doing? Stefano, hey, awesome. Yeah, and the thing is, they're trying to, you know, don't make them mobile or just let them. But the deal is, a lot of citizens, like today after work, they were stuck and they're trying to go home, dinner at home, see the fam, working all day. And so the whole transport system is kind of paralyzed, and people couldn't get anything anywhere. You can't even catch a taxi because the roads, were set on fire, bricks on the road, and a lot of things. And I don't mind, protesting, saying out what you want to say. That's awesome. You have your right to protest. You have your right to say whatever, you guys or the guys out there want to protest about. It's perfectly fine. But when you start like affecting people's lives, that's naughty. That's naughty. It shouldn't happen. And in the morning, sometimes they trying to make the traffic slow and stuff like that. And when people get late to work, they get in trouble because nowadays a lot of the offices they use the fingerprint. Yeah, I hope I'm not boring you on this thing. And it's leading, and let's talk about last night. No, last week. I'm always saying that last night. I don't know what's going on, guys. Yeah, my mom. Anyway, my mom is back for just a few months, 3 4 months during the summer, and she's like staying with my brother, my sister, and haven't stayed with me yet because my home has been chaos. It's really given me a really busy time, and it's painful. I'll get back to that a little bit later. Yeah, and then so mom tends to sit at home all the time doing not much because the traffic is the transport system is kind of paralyzed. So last week I took mom to the Philippines. Any Philippine viewers out there? Yeah, Philippine people are the one of the most friendliest people on the planet. I can say that they're really nice, really friendly, and really welcoming people. And it's always very welcoming going to Manila. But still, there's the city uh, still needs a lot of work, infrastructure. A lot of things still need to be, worked out. Yeah, I need Posy. Yeah, I talk to Posy when he gets on live on Instagram. I always say hi to him. I pressed the wrong button, and I was in the video with him on his Instagram. I didn't know how that worked, but I was in it, and he said, "Hey, hi, how are you doing?" Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, Paul's a good man. He's a party animal. He's a young kid. He should enjoy life at the fullest. And he's in Taiwan. Taiwan is an awesome place, cheap food, and it's relatively different to China, culturally wise and things like that. So it's a good place to go to. Yeah, Taiwan. Well, anyways, so Philippines. Actually I did some videos on it, but I haven't had time to edit and remake it. But let me tell you something about Philippines. Since the new president has gone, in the Philippines, the crime rate has been a lot better. And the public transport, the roads, they try to clear the roads because people would just occupy one lane. on the side road and make a parking lot out of it, or make a storage, build something on the public roads, and a lot of crime, before. But now, uh, I feel a lot safer than before going to the Philippines. Yeah, honestly, but still, the transport system is a nightmare. Yeah, and as you know, the president is close friends now with China, mainland China, and they have loaned huge amounts of money to the Philippines. And you would see a lot of buildings, brand new structures every day. It's just like China now. You're going to Philippines, and it's just like China. I mean, in Manila especially, all buildings, massive buildings, and casinos. The casinos, let me tell you, they are brand new casinos, and they're as big or even bigger than Macau. And there's a lot of mainland Chinese moving to Manila, and that is very interesting. Anyways, I'll do a vlog on that later on. I just have to edit and trying to make sense of all the clips and stuff like that, all that stuff, good stuff, right? So I'll present it to you guys. Okay, so and I was in Philippines, and everybody had fun. We played some golf, and gee, those guys were my kids were just spoiled. They never ever had a chance with caddies and buggies on the golf course, and it was amazingly cheap. It's really cheap. It's like you hire the caddy for 18 holes. It's like $20 US, and then maybe $15 for a buggy or something like that. And the kids told me, yeah, Australia is true. So, GMAC, are you from Australia? May I ask, if you don't mind? Yeah, and yeah, so the kids were. I mean, if you don't, I was just laughing at my son. I don't believe it. How lazy he has been, because he carries his own golf bag and everything like that, and suddenly he's just suddenly taking advantage of the system, and it's just making me laugh. Here, let me just show you a little clip how lazy my son is. I just don't believe it. Here, if I can load this video up. Here you go. You see my kids playing a little golf, and you can see he's enjoying. And actually, Philippines, it's not as hot as in Hong Kong. Hong Kong, I feel a lot hotter. How lazy can you be, guys? That's Oh my god, this guy. Look, and the caddy is just the caddy is just doing all the work, and my my daughter, got to drive the buggy, because in Hong Kong, if you drive the buggy, you actually a driver license is required if you drive a buggy in Hong Kong, and that's pretty strict. Here's my daughter, focus, and the first time driving the buggy, and yeah, she had a lot of fun, but I just she had to slow down because she was, yeah, it's fun. Yeah, anyways, so all the kids they had a lot of fun there, and it was good, awesome. Okay, so Filipino is good, and there's a lot of Chinese food, and the thing is, we're trying to learn the Filipino accent just to make ourselves sound a little bit more local. And actually in Seattle, there's a place, a Filipino place, Jollibee. It's good. They have fried chicken, and the fried chicken is kind of amazing. It's a different way how they make it from the KFC. And last month I was in Seattle, and there's a Jollibee and the Chow King. Chow King is like a Chinese food, but it's has a Filipino touch to it. It's owned by the same group with Jollibee, and we call it Chao King. They'll just say, "Do you know where's Chao King?" And they say, "Huh?" But when you go, "Do you know where's Chao King?" And they'll, "Oh, okay, Chao King, Chao King. Oh, you like the fried rice, the pork fried rice?" Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's cool. I just read some comments here, guys. Excuse me. Yeah. So they in Philippines they're just so lazy. It's an automatic, ball machine. You don't have to bend down and just to put it. Yeah. So Seattle was actually a massive community in Seattle, the Filipino, But the thing is, I talked to expats in Hong Kong and in Thailand, and you would see a lot more expats in Thailand rather stay in Thailand than in the Philippines, because in the Philippines still security is still pretty tight, and they would have basically the security, like the casino, the securities would have a K9 and an M16, on their, in the front door, and just to make their presence around, because as you know, there are a lot of guerrillas in the Philippines, and they live in the mountains, and the government can't control them, stuff like that, and people get kidnapped, and that is an ongoing issue, and that's unfortunate. That's such a beautiful country, and a lot of expats that are afraid to stay in the Philippines, so they'd rather go to Thailand. Yeah, maybe I'll I'll go to Thailand sometime, and then do a vlog with some. I know American that moved, sold everything, gave everything away, and moved to Thailand like 3 years ago, and I'm pretty good friends with him. Yeah, and I'll meet up with him and maybe do a vlog and tell him how it is. Yeah. So GMAC, I assume you are in Sydney. Yeah, a lot of mainland Chinese, yeah, IT, and yeah, they are really creative people, and they do a lot of things. But unfortunately, in Hong Kong now, it's just talking about mainland Chinese. All A lot of mainland Chinese stores and stuff like that has been attacked and vandalized. It's just right tonight as we're speaking, and that's sad. Bank of China, the mini so, I don't know. Have you heard of that? It's just like a dollar shop or something, really cheap stuff. They got attacked, and there's another store is called the 360. And believe it or not, Starbucks, that's one of my favorite places to have coffee. They got attacked too, and the kids used the Molotov cocktails, just trying to set the place on fire. And you guys might think, "Hey, morning, Emmy, Henny, Emmy. All right, good morning. Thank you, Alonso." Yeah, and you would think, why would they attack Starbucks in Hong Kong? Because they're spray painting the walls, smashing the glass, just vandalizing Starbucks, and it hurts me because it's my favorite place, to have a cup of coffee. Uh, Let me tell you the reason why. Actually, the Starbucks is owned is it's like a franchise or partnership with the Maxims Group, and Maxims Group own a lot of franchise. They own like hundreds of restaurants, and I can't even tell you all the names. For example, some North American brands you would know is uh, Lori's, right? Have you heard of Lori's, the prime rib, and Genki Sushi from Japan? They run that Genki Sushi, so that's been vandalized, and a lot more. And Maxime's Palace tonight in the Shartin area. They just went in the restaurant with metal poles and start vandalizing because the whole reason is because during the UN meeting about the human rights issue, or the stuff, the boss, the founder's daughter, but she's like 60, 70 years old, was criticizing the students, saying that they were out of control, they're vandalizing, they should, do something more creative, better for the society and stuff like that. And the students didn't take that really well, so they destroyed a lot of the restaurants owned by them. And obviously, the boss is Project Beijing. Even the airlines, the food catering for all the airlines and some hotels, they own the whole groups in China too. Yeah, so violence is going into Beijing's hands. Yeah, and it's just so sad you see these restaurants getting vandalized. Yeah, that's terrible. Yep. And today, how long are we on? We're 20 minutes. Okay, let's get into the subject. Is the subject today is the apartments and stores. Are lots of people are breaking the lease, and they use a company usually to register the lease. It's usually for commercial. Usually, it's a 4 to 5 or 6 years lease, and for like expats, usually they rent for 2 years. But the unfortunate part is talking about the expats. A lot of expats are leaving. They're either quitting the job or they're getting they're getting laid off from their job in Hong Kong. And I know a few friends that own some small properties that rent to the expats. For example, pilots. There are a lot of pilots that some are being laid off, and they have to go back and they have to break the license. So that's really sad. Yeah, the Starbucks is sad. and and you see the pilots and some flight attendants, the airline, because they're really mobile people. And banking has been really crap, and the financial situation, a lot of stockbrokers and stuff like that, they are leaving or being laid off. So all these lease, they're breaking the lease, or if they can't even break the lease, are they responsible? They'll just leave it. That's the best they can do, or what else can they do? And a lot of stores now, you would see they've closed down. When I walk down major shopping centers, and the streets, the restaurants and the stores, the shutters are just down. And when you see the shutters down, you see all the stickers from all the real estate agents trying to lease the place back out. But unfortunately, it's really bad. And I talked about people doing the in the retail business. I said, yeah, I talked to my friend. They own some electronic stores and coffee coffee machine appliance stores and stuff like that. And they say, what do you mean business? What do you mean retail? We don't we don't know that word anymore. There's no retail anymore. So why does that really affect? Now, how did it really affect them? Because whenever there's a protest at that area, people would just shut the doors and roll down the gates and just close completely. For example, let me give you a good example. Today I went to the DJI, and I just had to repair the remote control because it's faulty. But it's a good deal. You just pay like $50 or something. And I asked him, can you just replace the battery inside, because you got to take everything apart, change the battery. Oh no, if you like pay $50, we'll just give you the whole brand new remote with a new battery in it. That's awesome. So DJ was, I give them credit for really good customer service, after sale service and stuff like that. And today they're supposed to close like 9 o'clock, right? And they told me, yeah, I'll wait for an hour, come back, and then we can exchange you the brand new remote control unit. But they said, oh no, we just received news. There's going to be protest. We're going to shut, like I was there for 4:15. We're going to shut the gates down 5 o'clock, and everybody's got to leave because all the transport system, everything's going to be closed and shut down. Nobody can go home, and that's really sad. So they had to. While I was walking, going away, they were turning off those TVs displays, turning off the lights. They're like kind of in a panic mode, because I think if they don't shut down really quick, if their stores get vandalized, the staff might get in real big trouble. So usually they will just abandon pretty much evacuate real quickly. Yeah. So for example, like even big department store like Macy's or stuff like that in Hong Kong. So the biggest, one of the biggest shopping centers is called the Sogo, Sogo, and this is like a the mainland Chinese people is the shopping paradise. There you can find all the name brands, cosmetics, perfume, blenders, toasters, supermarket, anything. Everything is just in this mega place. They before the name is called Jumbo Sogo, and even the locals love this place. There's Italian restaurants, Japanese style restaurants, ramen. So if you guys ever come to Hong Kong, go to Sogo. It's a really nice, really nice department store, and it's still really full. Every day is packed, but nowadays it's just I've been talking to some people there because what they do is the department store, each floor, they just like rent it for this company, rent it for this company, and like that. And they're under a lot of pressure because every month when they pay the rent, the massive amount of rent, they're losing a lot of money. And plus, because it works in a commission basis too, and those people are really getting hammered. And people, salespeople, their job is to sell stuff, right? And numbers, figures are important, and they're getting so much pressure, and you can see their eyes are red and just really sad. They're feeling really sad because a lot of the income is commission based too for them, and which is really bad. I feel sorry. And they would just say, "Oh yeah, today I don't know. Everybody's making a bet today. How many hours and we're gonna close? We're gonna when the gates shut down, they're just gonna evacuate, and everybody trying to get home as soon as possible before all hell breaks loose." That's really sad. Oh dear. And let's talk about in the apartments that, and even people now, believe it or not, when they rent apartments, the apartment actually the prices went down like 30 to 40%, believe it or not. And now it's really cheap. Before, if you rent something, it's like 2000 US and up, 3000 US, 4000, 5000 US, up to like 20, 30 grand, 50 grand US. And now a lot of people, they if they had a chance, they move out the apartment and they'll stay in a hotel. Does that sound weird? Because in the hotel, you would have fresh towels, they'll make your bed, they have all these service, and for a lot of people that renting these small apartments are it's really the condition isn't that good. It's an old building, and they might not even have good AC or something like that. But in a hotel, you live in a hotel, there's full air conditioning. You don't pay for electricity or anything like that. And I know now the trend is it is cheaper to stay in a hotel than renting an apartment. And the deal is when you rent, like move into a hotel, you don't have to sign a lease or anything. You can just leave or whatever, or find wherever the best rate is. And this has never ever happened before in Hong Kong, and that's really sad. uh, and let me show you some, people. You don't necessarily have to stay in really fancy hotels or something. People like backpackers and stuff like that. uh, Yeah, that's terrible. Here, let's do some searching on hotels now, and just give you an idea, guys. What's the rate like to rent apartment? And we'll just search it while I'm on live, and you can see the prices are kind of really cheap. And let's look for the cheap hotels and see how how much are they. Okay, you can find some guest house and stuff like that. They should be really cheap. Here, let me kind of sort this out. Okay, so these are the guest house here. So they sell for maybe $35, and it's all inclusive. So these are some hotels now that they're going for really cheap. So that's like, 30 bucks or less. And before these would go a lot higher. And now the rate is a little bit higher. And the reason why is and excuse me for the it's flipped over. It's a little bit higher because there's a festival coming on next week, and it's going to be a public holiday. It's going to be a long weekend. So the prices has gone up maybe $20-$30 more. But usually the cheap ones you can really find here. Let me search some dates that it's not during the holiday period or something like that. And we might find something cheaper. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper. So, okay, this guest house was like 300 bucks or something like that. But here, let's see. It doesn't say. So, for example, this one was the same thing, and it's going for, and focus, $193, right? So that's a lot cheaper. And there you can just find. I find some hotels were like 30 bucks US, and that was really cheap. Because the hotel industry now they laid off a lot of people already, and that's really they laid off 40% of the workforce in general for the hotel industry, which is bad. And it's really quiet and scary in the hotel because all the rooms are empty. And at nighttime, when people when people are not encouraged to go out, so at nighttime there's, like, when you walk on the streets now, it's really busy. You see all these restaurants, snacks, whatever. But now the streets are like not really full at all because there's so much protest, and younger kids, families, they won't really go out at nighttime. So that's affected Hong Kong, and tourist the tourist has dropped like 50% or more for sure. Yeah, Kim, hi, how are you doing? Yeah, the people. So people are actually. It's cheaper to stay in a hotel than staying in an apartment. So there's a lot of break lease going on, and it's really bad. Yeah, and in Hong Kong they just came out with the law tonight, and so tonight was a super party. They really came out and did something like Wreck Ralph. They came out with the wrecking ball because today there's the law that if they said in Montreal, in Canada, in France, and in the UK, if you go out for protest, you wear a face mask. There's a huge fine or something like that. And now Hong Kong just went into this emergency law. I don't know. Have you seen the news? The emergency law just came out a couple hours ago, and if you get caught, you will be detained for like minimum of 14 days and a fine of I think at least $5,000 US. So this law just came out. So people was pissed as shh, right? And they just really did a lot of damage when this emergency law kicked in today. But I don't think the protests, they came out to wreck stuff and destroy things. They won't really care if they do the mass. I just, everybody, when I don't know, a lot of friends, they come to me say, when is it gonna end? When is it gonna end? They ask me, and honestly, what position am I in to tell my friends when is it gonna end? Because nobody knows what's gonna end, right? Even other leaders told the Hong Kong, telling the people of Hong Kong they really need a change of government, change of the new face or something like that. But they ask me, yeah, they need the Avengers, they need, yeah, they do. Yeah, and even something I find very like disturbing in a way. Hong Kong is going for the true democracy, the rights and all that, but somehow other people not necessarily have to agree with the points with the students, right? And if you don't agree with them, you get beaten up, you become the enemy. But I thought democracy supposed to be two ways, right? Like it's all right if you disagree, it's all right if you agree. I mean, it's our personal freedom, it's our personal right to believe whatever, right? Like in American politics, a lot of people don't like this guy, don't like that guy, or whatever. It's a but you don't go beating up people or doing this, in the street, in the Hong Kong busy street. Every day you see this kind of thing. The PLA, I don't think they'll come down because I think there are outside forces that they really want the PLA to come down, because if they come down and do things, the whole world would have a good excuse to condemn the CCP, and that is one of the major reasons the CCP is just on the standby, just in case. That's what I've been telling my friends, because Hong Kong police uh, has been a lot more. They're raising up the bar. Used not to. They weren't so violent before and aggressive. Now they wear face masks. They don't have the numbers on them anymore. They wear sunglasses, and the helmets have the reflecting things. Don't show their face. You can't even complain to them or anything like that. And let me tell you a little secret, guys. Why Hong Kong police are capable of all this, you know, law and order, or trying to threaten the students who are protesting or being violent, because the Hong Kong police force has been training with the mainland Chinese police force for a while, and they don't actually say it's a training. They don't say it's a training thing. What they say is it's an exchange culture exchange or something like that. But I think even a lot of people don't understand that these policemen has the ability to be really strong, and like the way that the CCP does the law and order. Okay, that is a fact. And even who's that, the the at the beginning of the protests, uh, the chief security guy, in charge of the Hong Kong's security forces, he apologized for being so violent to the protesters and stuff like that, and the police force scolded him for saying that. And we know that who's really behind the police force. You get what I mean, guys? Right? He's supposed to be the security, the defense minister of Hong Kong. But he said apologize, and even the police told him just to keep quiet and don't apologize. So that's kind of, it's kind of out of control in a way, because it's, you know people think of the PLA, but I believe that the Chinese, they are just well trained anyways, put it this way. And did you guys know a student got shot? Actually got shot in the chest. He was waving a stick, to the police, something, trying to hit him, beat him up, or something like that. And this police just hold a gun like a couple of feet away, and he just went boom. He shot him down, and people were upset. I mean, of course, they were upset when they shot this kid, but the deal is they just left him there lying, just lying down. They didn't really care, because the police force said, "Oh, because we were handling other rioters and we don't have time to attend to him." But the deal is like 5 minutes he was lying down. He didn't have any first aid, and that is kind of sad, right? Or can you say inhumane? Yeah, and he was in critical condition, but now he's in stable condition, and he's being charged for. I think he was being charged for assault, assault or something like that. Hey, Joyce03, yeah, take care. Uh, give me a like and come back to my channel anytime, guys. I just you're awesome. So this is basically what's happening, in Hong Kong, and the point is I'm talking about apartments and stuff like that, and it's sad because these apartments usually go for like a really small apartment, like how many, like 500 square feet would go for maybe 3 to 4 grand, but now it's going, maybe 2 grand. And I see it on Facebook, the expats and stuff like that, and there's still nobody renting these apartments. And the thing is, eh, you see so many advertisements are like break lease, takeover lease, stuff like that, and you know that something's going on because usually you see some of the, break lease or help on the takeover lease, give you a discount, whatever. But now it's just popping up every day. It's getting more and more, common. Yeah, so that's kind of sad, and people ask me the question, so I ask myself, when is this going to end and how it's going to end? Do you guys have any idea? Because I don't really have any idea when is it going to end and how it's going to end. uh, and today, talking about, my daughter, unfortunately, she got sick. She has like stomach virus, and we took her to the hospital and gave her some medication, saw a doctor and stuff like that. And we're trying to drive home, right? And after we went to the DJI, and like 5 o'clock, we headed home, and the protesters actually didn't block the road from us going home. It's the police. So nowadays they shut down the mass transit system, and they do the roadblocks to check the cars. So it would take us like it's only a couple, like 2.5 miles back from home, but it will take us like maybe over an hour to get home, and it wouldn't make sense. So we were kind of forced to eat outside tonight, but dinner was already prepared at home. So that's the life. We things change because my daughter's unfortunately sick. So that's it sucks because it's, we use the Google Maps, and you see the whole line, it's red, and suddenly just one point from the red is suddenly green. So you know damn well it's a roadblock, because nowadays they check the cars because a lot of people supply them with steel bars, like bottles or stuff like that, helmets, gloves, and like support. And they're trying to catch these guys before entering the area. So if there's something happening in one city, so they'll stop all the public transport going to this area, and even the roads, they'll start doing roadblocks that to go to this area. And unfortunately, me going home is only pretty much 2 roads that can go to my place. So yeah, I don't want to be stuck in traffic getting hungry, because at that time it's already like 7:15, and my daughter had to eat something to take the drugs. And stomach virus or tummy ache sucks, only would be never. Here, let me read some comments, guys. Yeah, so you guys, do you think Hong Kong is is going to see democracy, but it's kind of hard to see in a way because um, how can I say this? Like you have to go with the flow in a way, and you can't just say, oh no, you kind of pose to it, and that's a sad thing, and it doesn't mean that I'm neutral. I try to be as neutral as possible. But if I was going to say something right now in front of all this YouTube world and all my awesome subscribers and everybody and my awesome Patreons, is that I don't support violence. Violence is just it's unnecessary. It doesn't prove anything. And this protest has been nonstop for 4 months now. It's 4 months of protests, and that sucks. Yeah, Seattle is yeah. There's a If you guys have Facebook, look up Seattle looks like shit. This guy did a documentary or whatever, and it was talking about him, and he shows you all this stuff in Seattle. Yeah, but Hong Kong now has its own problem, and I just hope it can be solved and all that, because you can as the title of this the video is the apartments and stuff like that. And let me tell you something is, before all this stuff happened, the economy has already been low. It's not saying, oh, there's a protest so the economy is down, because it's already been down for at least for 6 to 7 months, 8 months before, because of the trade war. And that really affected Hong Kong in a way, because Hong Kong is the one of the busiest trading ports in the world, and all manufacturing, the cargo, the shipments, all come to Hong Kong and being distributed to the rest of the world. So Hong Kong is always like a gateway to China. So all these, even now, the container ports are doing really bad, because there's no the shipments are really small now compared to the really busy days, and that's that's affecting Hong Kong. So these 6 7 months has been already declining. Even the property prices is one of the highest in Hong Kong, as I say in every single video. Even still now, it's pretty high, but so strong. The market, I think it dropped like 10 to 15%, and it's still holding its value pretty strong. But nowadays, what's happening is the how can this end question. The latest news we hear is the CCP has been recommending to all these land developers that has been doing really well, to see how can they help out. So uh, only this last week, we hear that some property agent developers has even offered help now to make life easier for the Hong Kong people and the students. As we know, there isn't enough land for public housing, so there's one developer already offered, well, we're going to give all this, the green belt land, we're going to give how many acres of land to the government to build public housing. So I think the CCP in a way suggests these big companies to help out. But CCP suggests something, you get the message, right? Or else you'll be purged. So now all these tycoons are bringing out money, and just now tonight, Li Ka-shing uh, agreed to he has a fund, make a fund to have, I think, 10 billion Hong Kong dollars to help the retail business and small business startups. So he did this today, and another one um, said he's making a plan to give out some other land. Uh, he's still calculating, but he said he's committed to give out land so there'll be more public housing. Because at first the government said, "Oh well, there's this big deal. They want to close down the golf course. They want to, take these land, whatever." But now the CCP has advised that how can they, throw in the hand and help out Hong Kong. So we hear these people helping out every day because there was a massive project the government proposed as in the Lanto Island. Like you guys know the airport. It's in Lanto Island. Actually, Island is bigger than Hong Kong Island, and they wanted to reclaim like really massive piece of land to build all the public housing. But now, since the CCP actually not the PLA is not jumping in, it's the CCP is asking these tycoons for ideas how to cool down the housing market and to make the general public more happy, is making housing more affordable for them, more government housing. Because now the government housing, I think there's only like for I think there's only for 2 million people, and Hong Kong's like 7.5 million. So I think 2 million only gets government housing, and the ratio is still very, very high. So that's one of the things. So when the CCP suggests you to think of some ideas, I'm sure they are creative, right? So problem solved, right? So hopefully, these would really happen. The land, they will start really building more public housing, and the students won't, be so agitated. And let's talk a little bit about the students, which is doing all the protesting, peaceful and the violent protesters. The reason is when they graduate from college and they get a job, they will never ever can afford to live in an apartment, to buy an apartment in Hong Kong. That's pretty much impossible. And even uh, paying off rent is pretty tough for them, even with a good college degree in Hong Kong. So Hong Kong, the culture, unlike in North America, Australia, or you know Europe, when you're 18, you move out of your home, right? You get an own apartment yourself and stuff. In Hong Kong, it doesn't really happen that way. So usually, like if in my family, like my mom and dad and me. So if I had a girlfriend, she would come visit me at my place, and then if we really got married, the wife would come and live together. And then when I have kids, the kids will still live in this house. And so if I have a brother, so the house would be really kind of crammed up. And that's the culture. And the family usually are born pretty tight because every night the folks will cook dinner, and every siblings will meet and at home and stuff like. And that's general. That's how it usually works and all, because it's pretty much unheard of saying that, oh yeah, I graduated, or I got a job, I'm gonna buy an apartment. It's pretty tough, and people, that's the fact of life, unfortunately. So hopefully this the public housing, and do you know, if you if I had a mediocre job, and I can't make ends meet, and I'm just living in a shared bedroom or something like that, and how long would it take me to apply for public housing? Do you guys have any idea? I'll give you like 30 seconds to think about it while I'll just have a drink. Okay, any ideas? How long would it take? It would take a minimum of 10 years to get on a public housing scheme. 10 years, right? So that's pretty uh hey man, GMAC, take care, man. Um thank you for very much, and thank you for the like. see you again. Yeah, so this is really bothering the students. I mean, if you want public housing and stuff like, it's cheap rent. You pay public housing, usually you pay around 150 US for a month, and you get a like 300 square feet, apartment. So that's sad. There's no chance for these younger generation kids to get a place of themselves, not even owning or even just renting to get in one. So now the everything is just kind of gone to hell. So I feel really sad in a way, because it's not just been happening these few years. It's been happening since, like, for almost 10 years. This has been happening for like 10 years. So the anger and the hopelessness has been in their hearts for a while, and now it's just has become a breaking point. And you would see these developer making billions of dollars. Everybody gets a private jet. Everybody, everything is IPO. They were, you know, let me tell you, some rich people I know, they don't need they don't need to spend any money. Everything is the corporation, credit card and all that. So when you ask them for like 50 to $100, they don't even have that in their pocket, because everything they rely is just their general life spending. Is everything is not out of their pockets, out of the public company's money. So, and when you ask them for like 100, you better be begging, and you probably won't get it. Because they're just so, you know yeah. Anyway, the CCP is it's not easy to do. Hong Kong people is like, how like orphans. They don't have a parent. The UK left, and now the CCP, and it's hard to do in a way, because how they think, the culture and everything is completely different to Hong Kong. And even if you go, like, the Hong Kong people go overseas, they ask you, are you from China? Yes, actually you are from China. But those people will stereotype you, thinking that you're a mainland Chinese. And the mainland Chinese, the things they do and the things they, in public, how can I say this? It's different. The culture is different. So some people actually from Hong Kong, when you say, "Oh, you're from China and mainland China, or whatever," they will actually be offended if that happens. And even now, they start, you know attacking all these stores and stuff like that. And today they hit Bank of China. And but the thing is, like, the supermarket, mainland, the mainland Chinese supermarket, they would like kind of break the thing, smash the windows. But actually, the students, they don't steal anything from the store. They just break it, or trying to set it on fire. Even in the Starbucks, they didn't steal anything. Today, I just saw on live TV, they just trying to vandalize it, because the anger in them. Because I don't think they take criticism too lightly. Because when they get criticized, they get really upset, and they will react right away. And even yesterday, I saw the headmaster of a university. I don't know, did you see that? And and the headmaster didn't want to talk to the students, so they locked the door. So the students just smashed the windows, and then just went in and demanded for the meeting. So the headmaster, like, slapped the table. Have some order. You're the student. Have some respect, like that. And they finally got him outside the courtyard, and he agreed to do like a Q&A. And the the students demanded the headmaster to apologize, because he, like, slapped the table. and And the headmaster said, "You guys were rude. You guys were so loud, blah blah. You should apologize." So the students, yeah, sorry, we apologize. And then the headmaster said, "Okay, I know, I'm sorry too." So this is this is the thing. Yeah, China, Bruno, China. The reason China in Hong Kong is such a shopping paradise because when you see the sticker on the window, it just said there's a queue, so it means quality assurance, and it's 100% authentic things. Because in Hong Kong, when you sell fake stuff, things will be confiscated, and you get fined a lot of money. So in Hong Kong, when you guys go to electronic market and all that, compared to the mainland, all the brands in Hong Kong are genuine brands, and it'll be cheaper than overseas because in Hong Kong there isn't any import tax, there isn't any sales tax. Okay, guys, so that which makes Hong Kong a very special place to go shopping. The only things they charge you taxes, liquor above how many percent, and cigarettes they tax you, and even for wine, red wine, white wine, ice wine, it's all tax free. So people can go to France or go to Italy or wherever, or go to Canada, get some ice wine. They can bring a couple cases back and it's completely tax free. So Hong Kong still shines because it's still a shopper's paradise. There's no tax. Like in Canada, you pay 13, 14%, GST, PST. In the States, you pay like at least 9 to 12, 13%, except you live in there's two states you don't pay. I think Jersey and Oregon. So I always like Oregon. But you guys know what I mean, right? So Hong Kong, I think it's still very special, and I hope everything will turn out right. Uh, so I think I'm gonna end this live, and I'm very happy to uh, see you guys again. And I apologize for not seeing, not doing the live last week. And yeah, and support me if you can, or just come to my Patreon. Check out the link below, and I would really appreciate it. And I'm just so happy you guys come give me comments and give me a like, and it's free. It won't cost anything because this like really makes makes me so happy to to see on my page. It's a small channel, and I just it's just awesome to do YouTube because you see all these wonderful people, the wonderful comments from my computer, and you know it's just amazing. And I didn't even announce my lives and all that. And my buddy Jesse, hey dude, you're the guys always, you're the first to click on, and it's just so awesome, guys. And thank you very much. So I'm just gonna end my vlog in the local time now. Let's see the time. It's can you see 3:16? It's oops, sorry. It's 3:16 and I'm getting like shaky. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully everything will get better, and hope I explain a little bit more of the insights of the protest. And I hope you like this little microphone that I'm using because I'm just trying to get a little bit more better audio since I'm on my computer desk here, because usually every time when I do some unboxing it's really tinny and sounds terrible. Okay guys, good morning from Hong Kong, and wherever you guys are, have an awesome, safe weekend, and say hello to the friends and family for everybody on YouTube. Bye bye, guys. Take care.